Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you all. If you're just joining me, I was just chanting a mantra to kind of get us into the intention of the mantra was Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which means may all beings be happy and free, and may all of my actions serve that purpose. So we're going to have a deep stretching class tonight. So I want you to start with all beings being happy and free with yourself. So please be happy tonight as you are stretching, and listen to your body. Make sure that you pay attention to all of its signals, all of its whispers, so it doesn't start to have to scream at you to change positions or back out of a position or just back off a little bit. So for this class, I don't know if you saw the note on there. If you are just joining, you are going to need two yoga blocks. And if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use some big books. And you're also going to need a rolled up blanket or a pillow or a bolster, which I actually did not get, so I'm gonna have to run and grab that real quick. And you're also gonna need a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt, a scarf, a dog leash, whatever connects point A to point B. So I will be right back while I get myself a rolled up blanket, because I was not prepared. I lied, I'm getting a pillow instead of a blanket, but this works too. So I am, let me see if I can pull this up on my phone. I can't see any comments you guys leave right now, but I will check them at the end of class. Let's see if I can get to this. No. Whoops, okay, well, okay, so it is 7, we're gonna get started, and I will do my best to make sure that I check all of the comments after class. So if you have any questions or concerns, you need any extra information, advice, just go ahead, put it in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as possible. This video is being recorded, so once we're done, you can go back and do it anytime you like. And yeah, just make sure, guys, if you haven't already and you want to keep getting free yoga classes, if you want to keep getting different types of content on here, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. The more subscribers I have, the easier it is for me to offer free classes and just more helpful information. So please make sure if you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that before you do anything else. And we're going to get started. So tonight, like I said, it's going to be a deep stretch class. I just had like a pound of rigatoni, so that's sitting heavy on my belly right now, so I'm not going to be doing any chaturangas or anything tonight. So this is going to be a nice, deep, relaxing kind of just a stretch. It's going to get really deep into the muscle tissues, deep into the fascia tissue, and it's really going to have you open up. Go at your own pace and do what feels good. Listen to your body. So we're going to start off actually on our sides. Now, if you want to take a pillow or that blanket or whatever and just place it underneath of your shoulder, you can do that. I'm going to do that because I have a bony shoulder. And you're just going to bend your knees and straighten your top leg, whichever side you're on. and you're going to make some circles. So bend that knee. We're just gonna lubricate the joints so that we don't injure ourselves as we really go into these deep stretches. So your foot, you can flex it, you can point it. I'm gonna flex mine now, and then when I go the other direction, I'm gonna point it. So I have two different ranges of motion there. Just one more circle here, and I'm gonna point the foot, and I'm gonna go back the other direction. I think that's the other direction. Is it going this way? I think it was. So you're gonna start to feel your glute muscles turn on here. So that's gonna be a little wake up. All right, one more here, and then go ahead and straighten the leg, and we're just gonna pulse it forward and back, forward and back. We're just stretching here and stretching here. Kicking the curtains. So how's everybody doing tonight? How many weeks are we into 2021? Is it turning out to be the year that we wanted? I don't know. Let's focus on our breath. Okay, coming back to here, you're gonna lift it up and down. Woo, up and down. 2, 3, 4, we're going to 6, 5, and 6. Good. All right, so let's hop up and go to the other side. So you'll bend your knees, get yourself comfy, and lift up the top leg. We're just gonna make some circles in one direction. One more. And then change the direction of your foot and change the direction of your circle. Already feeling that. You guys already feeling that? Ooh. Wait, this was not supposed to be a really hard working class. What happened? I swear I didn't want to work hard tonight. One more. All right. Then we're going to straighten the leg, and we're going to go forward and back. Forward and back. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to like kick. This isn't like a Pilates kicking. This is just to stretch the front and the back of the leg. All right, come back to center. I'm gonna go up and down, up and down. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. All right, roll onto your back. Oh, I have a nice pillow right here. And bring the soles of your feet together, coming into our bound angle pose. Stretch your arms down by your sides. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Breath in through the nose, and out through the nose. And yes, if you guys are hearing crickets, there are crickets in my house. We have a lizard, and he eats crickets, and they've gotten really big and really noisy. And I feel like I'm outside in the field. So I apologize for the cricket noise. All right. Now, if you have your block or you have your book, I want you to take that in between your hands and just bring it overhead. Keep your arms nice and straight. You know, if you have your head up like me, it might actually be better if you take your pillow out. Yeah, and then you get a deeper stretch. Now, if this is really uncomfortable and you just want to bring your arms out wide, go ahead and do that too. That can cause some impingement in the shoulders. So you'll feel, if you feel a pinching sensation, you want to just widen your arms. Good, and we'll bring that down. Put it to the side, roll over onto your side, and then we're actually gonna come up onto our knees. Now, if you've got any knee issues, go ahead and place your pillow or blanket or whatever underneath your knees, or fold your mat up underneath of you so that you've got some cushioning on your knees. So you're gonna need your strap or your, if you don't have a strap, scarf, belt, dog leash, whatever. So get that, and you want to have it just nice and wide here. On our knees, try not to stick your chest out like this. You're gonna keep your back nice and neutral. In fact, pull the belly button into the spine. Keep that spinal belly button connection. And we're gonna just take the strap up, keep the arms straight, let your shoulders go up, and then back and down. Let your shoulders go down. So as you reach up, the shoulders come up. As you go forward, the shoulders come down. Up and down. Now, if it's really hard, go wider. But you don't want to just kind of be loosey-goosey here. You want to have tension on the attraction on the strap, and you want to have your arms straight. And breathe. This is going to be a really intense stretch. Once you get to about here, the back wants to arch, pull it in, and really just use your shoulders for the mobility, not your spine. Now, guys, something that you won't hear in any yoga studio or from a lot of yoga teachers is that you don't get flexible from just doing like vinyasa yoga. You'll get a deeper range of motion, which just means you can move easier. And if that's how you're going for it, that's fantastic. But to get the flexibility that you see these people doing, like, these gymnastics type tricks in yoga, you do drills and you do certain movements and certain motions and certain stretches to get that flexibility, but it's not done in a constant moving vinyasa class where you're doing chaturanga after chaturanga. You will not build that flexibility there. So this is one of the stretches that I am constantly doing to open up my shoulders. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and drop that to the side, and we're gonna sit down on our butts. Wherever it's comfortable, just easy cross-legged position. Nothing too strenuous here. We're going to take the right hand down. Now, I know that I am going to probably be mirroring you guys, or not mirroring you guys. I'm doing my right hand. So you do your right hand, and your left arm is going to come up and over. And then we're going back to the side, up and over. And we're just going to kind of tick-tock back and forth a couple times here. As you come over, turn your palm to face down. So again, this is just like we were doing with our hips, but now we're doing it with our shoulders and our back. We're just lubricating the joints. Breathe in with one movement, out with the other. In with one, out with the other. Good, now we're gonna come over to the right, and we're gonna reach and hold. Feel both hips pressing into the ground. So if you feel your left hip lifting up, come back a little bit. Back off of the stretch a little bit. So to really get into a muscle, you change the actual length of the muscle to create flexibility. You need to hold the stretch for about 30 seconds or more. So think about that. Next time you're stretching, the longer you hold the stretch, the better. And we'll come up, and we'll go to the other side. So again, notice if your right hip bone comes off of the ground. And then just press it down. Now, if you're like me and you've got a lot of padding around the hip bones, you know what I'm saying? You don't feel your hip bones on the ground at all. Just make sure that they're both butt cheeks are pressing down evenly. You don't have to feel the bones in there. And we're gonna come back to center. And then we're gonna twist to the right, to the left. Tick-tock, side to side. And you guys know, if you've taken my class before, that I am a stickler. When you're twisting, you twist from the navel up. So the lower spine does not turn. Pull the belly in, nice and tall. We lift up with our spine, and we keep our hips anchored down. One more time to the left, and then we're gonna go to the right, and then we're gonna hold it. Look over the right shoulder and breathe. Just sink into the pose. Notice, so every type of pose, whether it's back bend or forward fold or twisting or standing poses, they actually create a certain type of energy in the body. So they are creating, you'll feel a different emotion with each one. So just notice, with twisting, what comes up for you? Where does the mind go? When we twist, our front body represents our conscious mind. Our back side of our body represents our subconscious mind, so it's what we can't see. So when we're twisting, we're surrendering our consciousness to our subconsciousness. So whatever we're tucking away back there, wherever we're hiding, this is going to start to surface when we're doing deep twisting actions. So what is it that this twist draws to the surface for you? And see if you can replace that emotion with breath. Body is breathing in, my body is breathing out. And come back to center, and let's twist to the other side. Lift up nice and tall, press the right hip back as you twist to the left. Twisting from the navel up, our lower spine stays facing forward. Surrendering that consciousness to the subconsciousness. This is often a very scary place for a lot of us, so we avoid this, or it's very difficult for us. You have a lot of things going on inside. You kind of avoid what brings the discomfort to the surface. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. This is the step to freedom, releasing what is in our subconscious. Great. Come back to center. And we're going to bring our hands to our heart. Now make sure that you've got your block or your pillow or blanket nearby, because we're going to twist to the right. Now this is a deep twist. You want to try to keep your left hip from twisting over to the side. So for me, I'm just going to take my block and place it right here on my inner right thigh so that I have something to kind of lift my elbows up. Because if I'm twisting over here without that, then my hips are turning. So I'm not really creating much of a twist. I'm just turning and pulling my hips out of alignment. Breathing in and breathing out. This is fun. My block is like, no, I'm not staying there. Go down to our last breath here. Deep inhale in. Exhale to come out. Okay. And let's go right to the other side. So you're gonna notice one side is a lot tighter than the other, or a little bit tighter than the other. And that's okay, just go with it. This is my tight side. Palms together. I'm gonna back out of this even more. Look up toward the sky, past your left elbow. Try to keep your right hip from pushing forward. Push it back if you notice it starts to creep forward. I know I have to keep pushing mine back. There's two types of people in yoga. There's the ones that here, they're going to be doing all stretching, like a really deep stretch, and no core, no chaturanga, and they go, no, I can't. And then there's the people who here, they're not gonna be doing any stretching, they're gonna be doing all strength building and chaturanga, and they go, no, I can't. I'm the one that looks forward to the deep stretch class, not doing any chaturangas, not doing any strength building. So this is right up my alley. But if you told me I was gonna have to be doing planks all night, I would cry. I would cry so hard. Come back to center. All right, take your block, place it to the side, take your pillow, place it to the side, and then we're gonna come down on our hands and knees. All right, stretching our fingers. We're going to have our fingers out nice and wide, pull the belly in. And then we're just gonna start with cat-cows. So inhale, arch the back, look up. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, up. Exhale, round. Now, if you want, you can bring the hands a little bit further forward. And as you inhale, you can come forward into your mermaid, and then back into your cat, forward, or swan, I'm sorry, not mermaid, swan. And don't expect huge things right now. We are just warming the body up, so we're not going to be really limber right now. One more, come back to swan, and then back to center. Good. Now, going on to our fingers, we are going to lift the palms and then press them down. Lift the palms, press them down. You start to feel the Rice Krispies happening in the knuckles. Snap, crackle, pop. Nice. Okay, now we're going to turn the palms, or turn the hands. You can turn one hand. If it feels good, turn both hands. I'm just going to do one right now. And we're just going to go front to back, and then maybe side to side, side to side. Good. Turn the hand back. And they're going to take this hand and place it knuckles down and straighten the arm. Make a fist. Let the fingers go one at a time. Good. And then the other hand, we're going to turn palm facing back, fingers facing back. We're going to go front to back. And then we're going to go side to side. All right, we're going to turn knuckles down, straighten the arm. I know it's really hard to straighten the arm. Make a fist. Ooh, that arm does not want to straighten. That's okay, that's okay. I'm going to bend it a little bit, and then just let the fingers go. Shake them out. Okay, so if you want, if your wrists get really tight, I want you to just make a fist and give like a gentle squeeze, and make a fist, point your knuckles down, and then just kind of pull down, like you're trying to pull the skin down, nice and gentle. You're not trying to pull the skin off of your hand. Good, and another side. All right, are we ready for downward facing dog? I think we are. I think we are. Hands down, nice and fingers nice and wide. Hasta Bandha, pressing the hands down. Lift the knees up and start to straighten the legs. Now, if the legs don't straighten, that's okay. I want your back straight. If you are having a hard time straightening your legs, straightening your back, press the mat forward, bend the knees, lift the heels up, whatever you need to do. I want one long line from the fingertips to the hips. So if you're here, then your knees should be bent even more, and your heels should be up off of the ground even more. So this is eventually where you'll end up, but take your time with this. So we're gonna bend one knee at a time. Our hamstrings are not warmed up yet. So like I said, don't expect feats of strength here, but do expect strength of feet. So if you watch Robin Hood, was it Robin Hood Men of Tights? I don't remember. Anyway, I think that's what it was from. They said that. Anyway, never mind. See, I can't help myself. Oh boy. Okay. Straighten the legs, come back to center, look forward, and walk or step the feet up to the front of the mat, forward fold. Nice, big, deep bend in the knees here. You're gonna let your belly rest on your thighs and just hang the head. Just relax. Maybe open the feet a little bit wider, the hip width apart. And then we're gonna just go side to side. Letting your hands just kind of dangle. If you want to grab opposite elbows for a little bit of security, you can do that as well. All right, guys. So we're going to come back to center. We're going to open the feet up a little bit wider than hip width distance. And I want you to walk your hands around. So you're going to bend your right knee and walk your hands around to the left. Now, if you feel any bending at this left knee, then walk yourself back a little bit. We want to keep this knee straight and protected. So you're going to feel a really, really deep, intense stretch in the back of your left leg. If you want your hands on your blocks or your books, do that. Take it easy on yourself. Props are meant to be used. They're not meant to be looked at as a tool for beginners. They're looked at as a tool just to deepen your practice. So always, always, always use your props. Blocks, straps, and anything else that you may need. One more breath here. Come back through center, and we're going to bend the left knee and walk the hands around to the right. Still breathing deeply. Last breath here. We're going to come back to center. Good. So now you should start to feel a little bit more flexibility in the hamstrings. Maybe we can bring the feet a little bit closer together. And we're just going to hang out here in our forward fold again for another minute. Now, if forward folds are really, really uncomfortable for you, or if you've been told by a doctor that you shouldn't do that, then I want you to come up. But if you're in your forward fold, I want you to grab opposite elbows and hang ragdoll. Straightening the legs if you feel comfortable, if you are not rounding and punching your back too much here. So forward bends are a pose of surrender. So they force you to surrender to what is, to surrender to your body, to your mind, to your breath, to the present state of yourself, regardless of what that is. So this is why we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to touch our toes, because we don't want to surrender to our body, to our self. because we feel self-conscious, or we feel frustrated, or we feel like we are full of expectations. So this forces deep emotions. So usually we come up with anger, anxiety, annoyance. So look into those feelings, take a deep breath, exhale them out. Okay. Now that they're gone, we're going to lift the head, bring the hands to the hips, bend the knees deeply, look up first, and then come all the way up with a flat back. And now we're ready to stand up. Fix hair, fix clothes, whatever you need to fix to get yourself started. We're going to start with our feet about, let's say, 3 feet away from each other. All right, hands to hips, then we're going to turn to face the right. Bend into the right knee. Take the left toes, turn them out so that they're facing out 45 degrees. So the right foot should be on the right side of the mat, left foot should be on the left side of the mat. I don't want your toes facing out to the side or facing forward. 45 degrees. It's really important they go 45 degrees. Hands at the hips. Make sure you're not over bending this knee. If you have to widen your stance a little bit, go ahead and do that. Bend the knee. You can bring your hands to your heart, or you can reach your arms up toward the sky. And this is our warrior one pose. Squeeze the left glutes so that you can really get a deep stretch through the front of your left hip. And now squeeze your right glute muscles so you can start to feel a stretch in the inner right thigh. Good, bring your hands to your heart. Nice, we're going to take our hands behind our backs. And I want you to move this right foot out to the right just a little bit. Roll the shoulders back and down and start to fold to the inside of this right leg. Let your shoulder come to the inside of the knee. Now, I'm not going to because I'm having some issues with my rotator cuff, but I want you, if you can, to press your hands up and away from your back. Kind of like they're coming over like this. So honor your body, honor what is, and honor what feels good to you. If you feel pain, you feel discomfort, come out of the pose just a little bit until you are at the last point where you couldn't feel that pain. And then we start to come up. Good. Release your arms, bring them to your hips, and we're going to turn to face the side and turn now to face the left side of the mat. You're going to have to reset your feet. So your left foot is going to be on the left side of the mat, right foot's going to be on the right side of the mat. Your hips are facing the back, well, the same direction as your face, and your back toes, your right toes are pointing out 45 degrees. Bending your left knee, you're going to pull the belly in. Either take your hands to your heart or reach your arms up overhead for warrior one pose. Squeeze the right glutes nice and tight. And then squeeze the left glutes nice and tight. And so this is going to square off the hips and just create stability there. Now, if you have any SI joint issues, it's really important whenever you're doing any type of lunge like this where one leg is forward to really squeeze those glutes together to protect that joint. Good, now we're going to take the hands together behind the back. Wiggle walk this left foot out to the left a little bit, roll the shoulders down and back, and fold to the inside of this left leg for your humble warrior. And if you can, press the hands up and away from the spine. See if you can get the palms together. Now, if the hands are not reaching, and I'm sorry I forgot to say this on the other side, grab a strap and just hold it here in between both hands. You've got time to go get it. In fact, I'm going to do that because of my shoulder. Right now, what had happened
happened was we were moving furniture and I got a little too overconfident in my strength, and then my shoulder said, nope, you cannot do this. And then it stopped working as much. So if you have rotator cuff issues, that is not fun. One more breath. And then start to pull yourself up to stand.
Whew. Come back to center, hands to hips, and bring the feet to the center. Good. Shake your legs out. And we're going to come right back to a wide-legged stance. A little bit wider than you were before. So we're going to come into our, no, just kidding. Just the same width they were before, because we are going to do our pyramid pose. So coming into just like we were before, the warrior one stance, but we're going to have our legs straight. So right toes are going to point to the front of the mat, right side of the mat. Left toes are going to point out on a 45-degree angle. Hands at your hips. Now, if you don't have your blocks or your sturdy books nearby, grab them, and you're going to set them up right outside of your foot. Now, if you've got more of my advanced practitioners out there, you probably don't need the blocks, but if you know that folding forward is a little bit sticky for you, please use your blocks. Don't be a hero. We don't need to be a hero tonight. Hands to hips, stick your butt out. I want you to point your hips forward. So if you had headlights on your hips, you'd be lighting up the wall in front of you. So we're gonna fold forward here. Now, keep the back straight. Do not round the back. Do not bend the front knee. If you do this, come back up to the last place you could keep this leg straight. We're not locking the knee out. I want you to feel like you're squeezing this kneecap up your thigh to engage the muscles. So your hands they can remain on your hips. You're gonna look about 2 to 3 feet out in front of you. If this is comfortable, you can keep this front leg straight. Bring your hands to your thigh. Or if this is comfortable, let's take your hands to your blocks. Back is straight here, guys. The back is straight and the front leg is straight. That's all I care about. Now, if this feels good, maybe you can lower the blocks. And if this feels good, lower them a little bit more. And then, only and then, if that feels good, bring your hands to the floor. But you're not looking down at your knee. You're looking just slightly in front of your right big toe. The longer you're in a pose, guys, the more your brain starts to try to distract you. So it starts to try to say, when are we coming out of this? I have an itch. I need a drink of water. I have to go to the bathroom. You know, what am I doing after this? All kinds of distractions start to come up. You go back to the breath. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. The whole point of yoga is to prepare the body for meditation, and meditation is stillness. So this is all that we're doing, is preparing the body for stillness. And if you pick a point in your pose that's excruciating when you first get into it, then it's going to be excruciating 30 seconds into it. So pick a modification that allows you a little bit of longevity in the pose. But lucky for all of us, we are going to start to come out the same way we came in, bit by bit. Hands go up, And then we turn, face the side, and we're gonna bring the whole shebang over to the other side. And get your blocks, set them up where you need them. So by now, you know what modification you need to take. One side might be a little bit more relaxed than the other, but you know what to do. Now, hands are gonna start at the hips. Turn the hips forward, back toes are pointing out to a 45-degree angle. Fold halfway, look forward, look forward, look forward, look forward, and then start to pivot down, finding your modification to the pose. Keeping the left leg straight, keeping the back straight. Keeping your thoughts from going a million miles a minute. Just breathe into the pose. You know, like I said, these forward folds bring up so much emotion because we are putting so much pressure on ourselves. And we have to surrender here. But one of the first things people tell me if they don't want to do yoga is, I can't touch my toes. And it's because there's so much pressure on us to be able to touch our toes for some reason. I guess it's a marker of strength or health. And we don't want to confront if we are not the picture of what everybody wants us to be. So we avoid it and we make excuses. And then we come up with negative emotions around it. When really, there's no big prize for touching your toes. Good, and then let's start to walk back up bit by bit. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to skip Warrior 2 today, but we're gonna take our feet out to Warrior 2 width here. Turn your toes out 45 degrees, bend the knees, and we're gonna take our hands to the insides of our thighs and just press the hips out. And you're gonna drop one shoulder and then the other. One shoulder, and then the other. And then we can come to the center and just push the shoulders out, or push the knees out as your shoulders drop down. You can even kind of sway side to side here. And then we'll come up. We're going to come into our wide-legged forward fold. So you're going to pigeon toe your feet. However, if you've got any issues that are leading to sciatica, you're feeling sciatic nerve pain, turn your toes out to about 45 degrees. And make sure you've got your blocks. If you need them, hands at your hips, fold halfway. You're going to take your hands to your blocks first. Or you're going to take your hands to lower blocks or lower or the floor. And just relax here. Now if your head's touching the floor, bring your feet a little bit closer together and take your head away from the floor and see how that feels to you. Now my more advanced practitioners, if you have a supported headstand in your practice, go ahead and come into your supported headstand. Again, I always say I do not recommend tripod headstand. Puts too much pressure on your cervical vertebrae at your neck. So supported headstand's the way to go. If you've got forearm stand here, if you've got handstand, go for it. But everybody else, we're just going to kind of hang out here. Going to bring the weight forward into the toe mounds. Maybe even walk the hands back.
And stabilize your mind. Then coming back to breath.
All right, start to walk yourself back up. Hands are gonna come to your hips, and then we're gonna turn to face the front of your mat. Bring your hands down to the ground, bend your knees, and we're gonna drop down to your left knee. We're gonna come into a lunge here. You've got your blocks or your books. You'll want them out in front of your right foot. Now, I was gonna do this up against a wall, but I think we're just going to do this away from the wall. If you want to use a wall, and you've got some flexibility here, take your back foot and place it up the wall. If you don't have a wall, and you still want to get that flexibility, bring your hands to your blocks or your knee and point your toes up. You can even reach back and grab the foot. But if you want to just leave that down, just leave it down. So this is all to stretch the quadricep and the hip flexor of the left leg. So any way you want to do that, go right ahead. If you want this or against a wall, or you can, there's so many modifications, guys, and we can go like 20 minutes just doing modifications. Or you can do this, or you can do this. Try to pull the belly in here, so try not to arch the back real deep here. Release the foot down, and we're going to come into a half split. So if you have a full split in your practice, come into your full split. If you don't, you're going to place your hands on your blocks or on the ground as you straighten your front leg. Hips are going to pull back. You don't want to have your hips down here. You just want to have your hips so that they are on top of your back knee. Flex your right toes. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you're not quite at splits, but you want to go a little bit deeper. Instead of coming all the way down here, I want you to take a block and place it underneath of your front thigh. And then you can even take your arms to reach them up for a full Hanumanasana pose. So choose what works for you. But I suspect most of us are going to be somewhere around this point, so let's hang out here. Let's just get comfy in this pose. Let's get acquainted with it, shall we? Ardha Hanumanasana. Hanuman was the great monkey god in Hindu philosophy that took one giant leap from India to Sri Lanka, and his leap looked like this, and so there's a whole story behind it, but anyway, that's why, there's a pose dedicated to Hanuman. It's one of my favorite stories. I'll put a video out there in the future with that. Okay, so whichever modification we are in, guys, we're gonna come back to our low lunge here. Back knee on the ground, keeping your blocks handy. And we're going to take our hands to the inside of our right foot. We're going to come into lizard pose, and starting with your hands on the ground, knee on the ground, keep the chest lifted. So if this feels good and you can keep your chest lifted, maybe you want to lift your back knee for a little bit more of a kind of strength building, a little bit deeper stretch here. But keep in mind, I'm keeping you here for a couple breaths, so get comfortable wherever you are. You can do that or bring your knee down. If this feels good, and you want to take your blocks or your books, place your elbows on them, go ahead and do that. Try to keep hugging your right knee in towards your right armpit. Good. And then if this feels good, and you're still able to hug that right knee in and look forward, then maybe come down to your elbows. And if that still feels good, maybe lift your back knee. Now, I'm not even going to do that because I know that there's no way I'm going to stay there for 30 seconds at least. Back toes can be pointed or flexed. Lizard pose, you gotta love it, right? I know some of you are cursing me at this point, but you'll feel good tomorrow. I promise. Keep breathing. How are you holding up? You're doing awesome. And then we're going to come back out of that and come back hands and knees. And we're going to take the left foot forward this time. Ooh, we get to do all that on the left side. Okay, so if you want to put your right foot up on the wall, you can do that. Or you can lift it, or you can reach back, grab it with your strap, sling it over your shoulder, whatever you want to do. I'm actually not going to do that because I'm not really comfortable in my back knee, so I'm just going to hang out here. I think this feels glorious. Hands can be on your blocks. Or they can be on your knee. Or they can be holding your strap. You guys are doing good. There's only like 10 minutes left, so you're doing awesome. Good. Now let's take our hips back, coming into half Hanumanasana. And if you've got full split in your practice, go ahead and come into full split. And if you're almost at your split, go ahead and take the block underneath of your front thigh. Try to square your hips to the front. And if you're here, let's hang out here. So guys, I'm always open for suggestions too. If you have a suggestion for what you would like to do for the next live class or any class that you want, or any type of video you want me to put, make sure you put it in the comments so that I can be here for you. I mean, I'm here to do what you guys want. I'm here to give the people what they want. So let me know. Or else I'm gonna keep doing this. No, I'm just kidding. I won't keep doing this to you guys. Okay. So now we're going to bring the hands to the inside of your front foot. So the hands are going to come to the ground, starting here. You can choose here. You can choose elbows on blocks or books. You can choose here, here, or here. And and here. Remember, you're looking slightly forward, so you don't want to round the back here. You want that nice and long. And then we'll start to walk the hands back. We're gonna come onto our hands and knees and move everything out of the way, coming onto our backs. Just checking the time. Hug your knees into your chest. And then you're gonna drop the left foot to the ground and take the right foot, right ankle on top of the left knee, left thigh, and you're gonna just press that knee away as you pull the legs towards you. So if this is too much and you just wanna put your foot on the ground, that's good, just do that. As long as you're pushing this right knee away. You can push it with your hand to make it a passive stretch, or you can just kind of use your muscles to pull that knee away. But if you feel comfortable bringing the hands behind your thigh or your knee or in front of your shin, go ahead and do that. You can even use your strap if your hands can't reach around here. This is just a reclined pigeon pose. So I wanted to do this versus regular pigeon pose just because this is a little bit more relaxing. Pigeon pose can be a little excruciating. And we've done lots of tough poses tonight. Good. We're going to drop that foot to the floor. Take your arms out wide, and then you're just going to drop this whole thing to the side. So the sole of the right foot's on the ground. The right foot is above the left thigh, and you're going to look over the left shoulder, over the right shoulder. So if you guys have really tight hamstrings and the folding forward was hard for you, check out my video on how to touch your toes right now. You'll be able to touch your toes right away, or at least get very close to it. It's not, I'm not joking, it is a trick and it really works. All right, come back to center and we'll switch sides. So now we're gonna take the left knee, cross it over top of the right ankle. You can stay here, or you can lift the right leg up, grab, kind of thread the needle with the left hand and grab the front of the leg or the back of the thigh, whichever works. And breathe. All right, now we're just going to take the legs and drop them over to the right and look out to the left.
Would definitely feel it on this side. Didn't feel it quite as much on the other side, but this side, yeah. And you can have your eyes opened or closed here. Roll on back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. We're going to just bring the legs down to the ground. You guys have earned yourself a nice Shavasana. So, come to a spot that is comfortable for you. If you want to put on any layers to, warm up, if you want to put a blanket, if you want to put a pillow underneath of your head or underneath of your knees, get comfy. This is your time to be still. Maybe dim your lights if you want to, whatever feels good. Take the first few breaths to get yourself situated here. You can let your feet flop out to the side. So I'm gonna sit up while you guys do this. Just relax. Squeeze your shoulder blades underneath of you. If your eyes aren't closed already, go ahead and close them. And just breathe in deeply and exhale fully. Come back to your state of mind here. Is it different than it was when you started class? If it's not, it's okay. If it is, just notice where it went and bring it back to neutral. Bring it back to your breath. And spend the next few moments in silence, listening to your breath, listening to your heart, and just feeling yourself draw within. I'll take you out in just a few moments, so enjoy a few moments of peace. I'll be your alarm.
Start to bring awareness back into your fingers and toes, into your hands and your feet and your wrists and your ankles and your legs and arms, and let it fill the rest of your body. Begin to hug your knees into your chest and make whatever movements feel comfortable and natural to you. And eventually make your way over onto your right side, into a fetal pose. Just hug yourself into a nice little ball and let your left arm drape in front of you and your head cradle on your right arm. Take a second here to just feel yourself come back to life. Feel yourself come back to your surroundings, your environment. And then move your way to a comfortable seated position on your mat. And I invite you to bring your hands together in front of your heart and bow your head in a gesture to remind us of the connection between mind and body. Please go from here tonight with peace and inner strength. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the place in you of love, of light, of peace, of truth. When you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me tonight. All right, thank you so much everybody for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and let me know what you thought by putting something in the comments. Tell me what you want to see next week. Tell me what you want to see in my videos on my channel. And if you want to keep getting all of this free content and you haven't already, please, 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 please subscribe so that I can keep providing for you. So I'm so happy to be able to do this for you guys every single Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. So if I keep getting lots of views on this, I will put some more classes on the schedule. So keep tuned for that. Make sure that you hit the notifications bell on my page too, so that you'll get notified whenever I post something new. So have a lovely night, guys. Thank you. Bye.